You're listening to the Broken Havoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review AEW Rampage from January 21st, 2022. This was a live episode of Rampage, and overall thoughts on this whole show. I really enjoyed this show. It was a really short, of course it was a 1 hour show, but it was a fun show in my opinion. I really enjoyed this show, to be quite honest with you. Of course, this is Jon Moxley's first match back, of course, after going through rehab. And after that amazing speech he had this past Wednesday on Dynamite, he wrestled on this particular show. He wrestled Ethan Page in a very good opener, in my opinion. Of course, Nick Jackson goes up against Trent Beretta. It was originally supposed to be the Young Bucks going up against Roppongi Vice, but unfortunately, Rocky Romero got tested positive for COVID-19. So they, instead of having the tag team match, instead they went singles with Nick Jackson going up against Trent Beretta. And that match was awesome as well. I really enjoyed Trent Beretta and Nick Jackson. Of course, Hook, he went up against, his almost weekly opponent on Rampage. Not really weekly. They usually go 1 week he'll wrestle, then the next week he doesn't wrestle, and then the next week he will wrestle. But he wrestled Sir Pentaco, and I will say this was the most badass match I have seen, and it was extremely short. And then, of course, Anna Jay goes up against Jade Carguill. Of course, Jade Cargill is defending her TBS championship in the main event of the show. Now, I will say this, the match, was not my favorite match of the night, but I will say this, it was not a bad match whatsoever. But overall, Rampage was a good show, in my opinion. I really enjoyed this show. The show was really fun to watch. AEW did tease that we're probably going to, most likely, we're definitely getting Moxley versus Danielson. Of course, they originally supposed to we were supposed to have that match back at Full Gear, but then, of course, Jon Moxley, of course, left because he had to go to rehab and all that type of stuff. He actually, he chose himself to get help. Like, he literally was like, I need help right now. Jon Moxley made that decision, and again, I respect Jon Moxley for that, and it's great to see Jon Moxley back, in my opinion, in an AEW ring. But they teased Danielson versus Moxley, and I'm extremely excited for that, but I'll give you my thoughts on that later on in this review. Now, we're going to be talking about Jon Moxley versus Ethan Page. Of course, that was the opening match of the night. Again, this match was really good in my opinion. I really enjoyed Jon Moxley and Ethan Page. Again, I will say this about Ethan Page. Ethan Page is the type of guy, like, I remember when they first brought him in AEW, I just did not I just did not care at all about Ethan Page when they first brought him in. And then they tried to make me care by pairing him with Scorpio Sky. I still didn't care. And then all of a sudden, what happened after that? They paired him with Dan Lambert, and, they became the Men of the Year. And I will say, I'm really starting to enjoy Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky together, in my opinion, especially when they got Dan Lambert there, because the guy is such a damn good promo. And Ethan Page as well. Ethan Page is a really good promo, in my opinion. And usually when you listen to his promos, you can definitely see, like, he actually means what he is saying. Like, you can definitely see that, genuine feel of anger and frustration that Ethan Page delivers in his promos. And that's just what is awesome about Ethan Page. Jon Moxley, bro, I can't say anything about Jon Moxley. You already know about Jon Moxley. I mean, Jon Moxley is the shit. He's freaking awesome. And again, I'm glad that he is back. And of course, AEW emanated from Washington, D.C. Of course, they were in the same arena as they were in Dynamite for this past Friday's show. But we're going to be talking about Jon Moxley versus Ethan Page. The match starts, both lock up. We get a waist lock by Moxley. Both lock up again. We get a chop by Ethan Page. Then both exchange shots. We get a back elbow by Moxley. Then after that, Moxley bites the face of Ethan Page. We get an enziguri by Page. Then we get a shoulder tackle by Page. Then he proceeds to take Moxley to the outside. He works on Moxley into the timekeeper's area. Moxley then fights back with a couple of chops. Then he sends Page to the guardrail. Then after that, he takes Ethan back in the ring. We get a knee by Page, and then we get a sliding kick onto the knee of Moxley. Then he takes Moxley to the middle rope and hits a backbreaker after that. Then we get a cover into near fall. We get repeated right hands by Ethan Page. Then Moxley fights back. Then Moxley runs into the turnbuckle when Ethan ducks. Then once we go to commercial break, Ethan Page is in control. Once we're back from break, he sets up Moxley onto the Ego's Edge, but then Moxley escapes. We get a German suplex by Moxley, and then we get a second German suplex by Moxley. Then he hits a third. After that, he misses a running lariat. We get an elbow by Ethan. Then both proceed to slap each other, and I will say that was such a crazy-ass moment in the match because those were some stiff-ass slapping right there. We get a knee by Ethan. We get a boot by Page. And then we get a lariat by Moxley. Then he tries to go for the paradigm shift, but then Page hits an elbow. Then Moxley hits Page hits a brain buster on Moxley. We get a cover and a near fall. Then Page applies a single leg Boston Crab after that. We get repeated rights by Page. Then Page runs up to the outside. We get a suicide dive by Moxley. Then Moxley goes to the top. We get a right hand by Page. Page then also goes to the top. We get an avalanche power slam off the top by Ethan Page, which was insane. We get a cover and a near fall, but then Moxley rolls him up, but we got another near fall. Then we get a couple of elbows to the face by Moxley. Moxley then applies the bulldog choke. Yes, he applied the bulldog choke. I said joke, my dumbass. He applied the bulldog choke. And after that, Page fades. And what happens? Moxley wins this match. Overall thoughts, this was a really good opener, and this was a great first match, in my opinion, for Jon Moxley. But that was not really the best part, in my opinion. The best part was when he left. So Moxley's walking through the crowd as he usually does, but when he leaves, he walks through the crowd. And as he's leaving, he sees Bryan Danielson, and they both face off. So this was such an awesome-ass moment. I love the fact that, AEW, when AEW teases a match, they always tease it in such a badass way. And, the way that they teased Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley, that was just freaking awesome, in my opinion. The way that they just stared at each other in the crowd, holy shit. You know shit's going down when you have Moxley and Danielson just face off against one another. Definitely, I 100% see that match being booked for Revolution. That would be a match I definitely 100% pay to see. I don't think they should book it on free television. Do not book this match on television, Tony Khan. Book that at Revolution, please. If you want to make Revolution a really good-ass card, which I know he will. I know AEW will definitely, just go balls to the wall for Revolution. And one of those matches has to be Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. So I'm really excited about that. All right, we got a video package of Jurassic Express, basically on Gun Club attacking Christian Cage this past Wednesday. And then we got Nick Jackson versus Trent Beretta. Again, the second match, of course, this is the second match of the night. And overall, I really enjoyed this match. This was a really fun match. Originally, this match was supposed to be, of course, the Young Bucks going up against Roppongi Vice. And AEW did acknowledge the fact that, Roppongi Vice and the Young Bucks have a history back in New Japan. Now, granted, I didn't watch any of those matches because I was never the biggest New Japan watcher. But from what I've seen in the footage, I mean, that is some dope ass footage in my opinion. But we got Nick Jackson versus Trent Beretta, and I will say again, this was such an awesome match in my opinion. I really, really, really enjoyed this match. Both lock up. We got a couple of chops by Trent in the corner. He misses an elbow. We get an overhead throw by Trent on Nick Jackson. Nick then tries to go for a springboard DDT, but then Trent hits a northern-like suplex after that. Then after that, Trent goes, we get a bridge pin attempt, but we get a near fall. Then we get a back body drop by Trent. Trent then runs in between the ropes. Nick Jackson is in control. Then Nick Jackson hits a neck breaker after that. Then we get a running kick to the back of Trent on the apron. No, from the apron by Nick Jackson. Then Nick Jackson is in control. We go to commercial break, and once we're back from break, Nick hits a senton off the top. Then Trent gets the knees up. We get a right hand by Trent, and then we get a right hand by Nick. Both exchange shots after that. We get a clothesline by Trent. We get a release German suplex by Trent. We get a running knee by Trent. We get a cover and a near fall. We get a couple of right elbows by Trent. Then he runs into a boot by Nick. Then Trent hits a spear on Nick Jackson onto the outside. We get a boot by Nick Jackson. Then Trent goes for a backdrop driver after that. We get a DDT by Trent. We get a cover and a near fall. Then we get a couple of chops by Trent Beretta. Then after that, Nick puts the referee in front of him, and then he hits a German suplex. But then Trent retaliates with his own German suplex of his own. Then after that, we get a right elbow by Nick Jackson. Nick then hits a freaking Canadian Destroyer. You guys all know that the Canadian Destroyer is by far the best move in the history of professional wrestling. We got a cover and a near fall. Then Trent tries to fight back. Both exchange shots. We get an elbow strike by Trent. Then we get a kick by Nick. Then we get a running rising knee. And then you get a running bulldog by Nick. Then Trent catches the super kick attempt by Nick Jackson. We got a German suplex by Trent. Then Trent hits a lariat. Then Trent goes for the pile driver, but we get a cover into near fall. At this point, both are on the apron, but Nick counters with a back body drop on the ramp. Nick Jackson then goes to the top. Then we get a senton by Nick off the top to the elevated ramp because, of course, in this week in AEW, they had an elevated ramp, and usually they always do spots there. Nick then goes to the top. We got a 450 splash by Nick Jackson after that. We got a cover into near fall. Then Nick hits a super kick, but then Trent ducks a second super kick. He picks up Nick, goes for the straight zero. We got a cover. 1, 2, 3. Trent Beretta beats Nick Jackson in a damn good, in my opinion, a really good match for Rampage. This was a really fun match. I loved the spots in this match. Nick Jackson is great, of course. His brother Matt is also great. The Young Bucks in general, they're just fucking awesome. Trent Beretta is awesome as well. He's really underrated, but overall, this match was just really, fun to watch, in my opinion. Especially near the end, it was a really fun match to watch. We get a video package of Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa. Now, one gripe I have with this is that, they revealed Mercedes Martinez, the last week that AEW Dynamite was on TNT. And since then, we had, the interference, during the TBS Championship match with Ruby Soho and Jade Cargill when, Mercedes Martinez tried to come in, but then Thunder Rosa, and Mercedes Martinez were brawling at the Prudential Center. But, really, all we have seen about this particular feud is just video packages. I want to see actual stuff happen in the ring. I'm tired of seeing these video packages. I mean, didn't we see a video package of this same freaking feud last Friday? I mean, I'm just saying, it made no sense. It makes no sense. If you're going to constantly have video packages, actually have some stuff, have some actual segments, I wouldn't be mad if you guys actually put an actual segment. That's just my opinion. We get Hook versus Sir Pentaco. So this match, I stated earlier in this review, this is the most badass match, in my opinion, and this was a short-ass match. Hook takes out Sir Pentaco before the match even starts. So he attacks Sir Pentaco when he was doing his whole streamer entrance. Well, he was already in the ring, but there was a bunch of streamers going around Sir Pentaco, and then as soon as all the streamers were just going around Sir Pentaco, Hook just did not hesitate, and he just went straight for the attack. So he attacks Hook. No, he attacks Sir Pentaco. Hook is in control. We get a double wrist lock takedown by Hook. Then we get a boot by Sir Pentaco, but Hook hits a belly to belly. Then applies the red rum. Sir Pentaco taps out and then leaves. But what happens? QT Marshall comes in. Hook tries to walk away, but then QT just takes him back. But what happens? Same thing that happened a couple of weeks ago on the TBS debut. Not on the TBS debut, on Rampage at the Prudential Center a couple weeks ago because I was there. Which, I did state that I was going to bring out a vlog. I'm going to mention this right now. I did say I was going to bring out a vlog, but my dumbass, constantly is working on other stuff that I don't have time to make the vlog. But hopefully I will still try to put out this vlog some in the near future because, quite frankly, I have been behind on it. So my apologies about that. But the same thing that happened the first time. He just suplexes QT, but this time it's on the ramp, so it hurts more. And yeah, Hook leaves. Hook is a fucking badass. Hook is awesome. He is the shit. This guy is going to be a star. Hook is legit one of the best things about AEW right now, man. This guy, a lot of people are comparing him to Goldberg, in which I totally understand that argument. Yes, he is really similar to Goldberg because of the fact that, Goldberg did have that long winning streak in WCW, and, most of his matches were really short. But, with Hook, I don't know why, but, Hook is just something else, man. The guy be just going crazy. But this was freaking awesome. Hook is going to be a star, guaranteed. We get Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay for the TBS Championship. Overall thoughts on this match. This was a not that long of a match, considering the fact that this match was only 11, from 10 to 11 minutes. This match did not take long whatsoever. This match started around around 9. No, not 9. This match started around 10, maybe 10:49, 10:50. Again, this match was 10 minutes. But I will say this, even though this was not my favorite match, I'm going to say this right here, right now. This was not a bad match, in my opinion. This was absolutely not a bad match whatsoever. I really enjoyed this particular match. Again, this is not my favorite, but it was not a bad match. Jade Cargill and Anna Jay are definitely improving in this match, 100%. Not only that, even though I did state, I still thought putting the belt on Jade Cargill was not the best decision in my opinion, nor putting her in the finals in my opinion was not the best decision in my opinion. I would have had, I would have booked, a lot of people like baby faces versus heels, but I wouldn't mind having a really good wrestling match between Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa, because quite frankly, the match that Jade Cargill had with Ruby Soho was not good at all. I just did not enjoy the match, really throughout the entirety of the match, the majority of the crowd at the Prudential Center was just flat out like just dead from what I've heard, because like I attended the show, the majority of the crowd just did not really care about what's going on. But in my opinion, that match really wasn't that good. But this, of course, this is Jade Cargill's first title defense. But again, this match was not bad at all. Anna Jay is definitely 100% improving. I'm really enjoying Anna Jay's work. And Jade Cargill, look, she is definitely going to be a star, and she really has the presence of a star because of the fact that, she can cut a really good promo. And whenever she cuts a promo, you can definitely see, this is somebody you just do not want to mess with, in my opinion. And that's what I really enjoy about Jade Cargill. But we're going to be talking about the match. Both lock up. We got a shoulder tackle by Jade. Jade then catches Anna, then throws her across the ring. We got a roll up by Anna Jay. Then we get a near fall. Mark Sterling and then John Silver face off because of course, Mark Sterling is in the corner of Jade Cargill, and then John Silver is in the corner of Anna Jay. And, of course, they were facing off and on the outside. Then Jade and John Silver face off. And then what happens after this was actually really funny. So Jade and John Silver were like facing off on the outside. Jade. And then they were both flexing their guns, which was the most funniest thing ever. I deadass enjoyed that. That was really funny. But then out of nowhere, Anna Jay runs into Jade and takes her out. We go to a commercial break. Anna Jay's in control during the commercial break. Then Jade regains control. Once we're back from break, Jade sends Anna to the corner. Then Anna goes for a heel kick, applies the choke, but then Jade escapes, sends Anna to the top rope. We get a right elbow by Anna Jay. We get an elbow by Anna into the corner. We get a kick by Anna. Then we get a heel kick by Anna. We get a thrust kick by Anna Jay after that. Anna Jay then hits the flatliner. Mark Sterling's on the apron, but then John Silver, out of nowhere, hits a freaking brainbuster on Mark Sterling on the outside, which, again, bro, that must hurt. I will say that. But we get a backslide by Anna, then we get a near fall, then we get a pump kick. We get a pump kick by Anna Jay. Then after that, we get a near fall. Anna then applies the Queen Slayer, but then Jade gets up. Anna is on the top rope. She still has the Queen Slayer applied. Then Anna pushes Jade to the corner. We get a kick to the corner. And then we get a one-arm powerbomb by Jade. Then what happens? Jade hits the Jaded cover. 1, 2, 3. Jade Cargill retains the TBS championship. I definitely did see Jade Cargill retaining the title. I mean, it'd be really foolish if AEW put the belt on her like 2 weeks prior and then they had her drop the belt, 2 weeks later. That is definitely WWE booking. If this was WWE, that is exactly what would have happened. Guaranteed. But overall, again, this wasn't, the best match of the night. But I will say this was not a bad match in my opinion. I really enjoyed the chemistry. When it came to Mark Sterling and John Silver is always entertaining to watch. I really enjoy John Silver. But again, this match was not bad at all in my opinion. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the match. It wasn't the best? No, it wasn't. But I thoroughly enjoyed the match in my opinion. But yeah, Jade Cargill retains the TBS championship. And that was Rampage from January 21st, 2022. Overall thoughts on this particular show. I love the fact that Rampage is a live show, in my opinion. Usually, in most weeks, Rampage is always a taped show. And, when it comes to being a taped show, of course, spoilers are out there, and you definitely do see the criticisms when it comes to fans on, why, they think Rampage is not a good show is because of the fact that the show's taped. In my opinion, even though when it is a taped show, I still enjoy Rampage, but it is so much better when it is a taped environment, in a live environment, because of the fact that, anything can happen. And, pure example of that is Bryan Danielson and Moxley facing off after Jon Moxley's match with Ethan Page. I mean, bro, they dead-ass teased Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. For a fact everybody's going to pay to watch that match. I'm 100% excited for that match. They're going to actually absolutely tear the house down. I definitely do see that match happening at the Revolution pay-per-view this coming March. But yeah, that was AEW Rampage from January 21st, 2022. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more reviews right here on the Broken Havoc podcast. And this is the Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast, signing out.